In this video, we're going to take a look at coffee cupping. I'm going to give you an introduction to cupping coffees and take you through our new coffee membership scheme, which will allow you to enjoy this experience at home. Now, coffee cupping is simply a way of tasting and experiencing and analysing, I suppose, coffees. And it's used across the coffee industry, from farm through to, roaster, coffee shop, even end consumer. It's, I suppose, a universal method. It's simple. It uses bowls, it uses water, it uses ground coffee. There are no filters, no complex brewing involved, so you don't need much kit. And there's, I suppose, things are less likely to go wrong, so you'll get more consistent brewing going on. I'm going to show you how to cup a single bowl today, keeping it nice and simple. Before I do, let's talk about the kind of kit we use for this process. There's a cupping bowl itself. Tend to use ceramic bowls, holds about 210 mils of water in its entirety, and all of our bowls will generally be the same size. The idea is that every coffee is treated equally. Cupping spoons. We will need 2 of those. I'll explain that why a little bit later on. There's this nice soup spoon design to them to allow you to take small amounts of coffee to taste. A couple of glasses are useful. One's got water in, one isn't. It's just clean. I'll explain how we're going to use those shortly. And we have a cupping tray here with some of the beans in that we're going to be using today. I've got scales to make sure that my dosing is accurate. I'm going to use 12 grams in the bowl today, so I want to make sure that's an accurate weight of 12 grams. And I've got a kettle. This is temperature controlled, and it's set quite high today. I'm in a cold room, cold environment. I want a 93, 94 degree temperature in the bowl. I know there's going to be a lot of loss of temperature today, so I've gone for 98 degrees on my kettle. So the first thing to do is weigh out my coffee. And like I said, I'm looking for a 12 gram dose. And I'm going to get this ground straight away, and I'll be using it straight away after grinding, so we really get the full impact of this coffee. So freshly ground coffee in the bowl. The first thing we'll do before we start brewing is get a sense of the dry fragrance. So how does it smell? And I'll give it a bit of a shake and cut my hands to kind of direct that fragrance towards my nose. And the overriding fragrance I get is that of, it's a nut, it's peanuts, it's definitely peanuts. And this is a pulp natural Brazil. I would expect that to be the case for this particular coffee. Now it's time to get the water on, and we are going to pour the water using the curvature of the bowl to generate a bit of spinning motion, which I hope will make sure the grounds are all saturated at the end. You don't want any dry grounds, so pouring down the sides with a bit of pace will generate spin, and towards the end I might need to go into the middle to pick up any little rafts of coffee, and the bowl is filled all the way to the top. And we're going to leave it for 3.5 minutes to brew. In the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about our new coffee membership scheme we've got launching this week. And it's to do with allowing you to experience coffee cupping at home. So we've got a little home coffee cupping set we have available to you. It's got cupping bowls, spoons, and the trays. And every month we will send out a couple of coffees for you to cup at home. We'll produce a video, and it's a member-only video that will allow you to watch us cupping the coffees here, listen to what we have to say about the coffees, and then you can undertake the same experience with the samples we send out to you each month. There'll be an opportunity to discuss the coffees, to ask questions and throw in ideas, thoughts and comments, which myself and the team will respond to. As well as the coffee cupping experience, our membership carries other benefits such as discount on our website, and for some of our members, the opportunity to have a private tour of our roastery. I'm coming up towards 3.5 minutes in, and I'm going to shortly be breaking this crust that has formed on top of the bowl. It's a crust of coffee grounds. I'm going to use the back of the spoon, and I'm going to push the spoon deeply through that crust to break it. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to get my nose as close to this bowl as I can so I can smell the aroma that's released as the crust is broken. You'll notice I repeated the process 3 times, and if I had multiple bowls here, I'd do the same in each bowl. So there's consistency across every single bowl. Now the water is here to help rinse my spoon, and I'm left with this foam texture on top, which I don't want. I don't want to be tasting that. It's not going to be a pleasant thing to taste. So using both spoons, I want to clean the top of my bowl. And we'll get rid of that into the empty glass, rinse, and then just go back in again. And there we go, 1 bowl ready to taste. So we're just over 4 minutes in, and we're not going to taste this till about 8 to 10 minutes. We need it to cool a little bit more, probably to around about the 70-degree mark. If we try to taste it now, we're probably not going to get much out of that, but we're also likely to scald our mouths, scald our taste buds, and ruin the whole experience. Technically, to get the full experience, you want to slurp the coffee. You want to suck air in with that coffee so that you engage that kind of nasal cavity at the top of your mouth where you'll be able to perceive flavour. Without doing that, you'll only be able to perceive taste. And these tastes will be on your tongue. There'll be acidity, sweetness, bitterness, saltiness, and umami. Now, I tend to do a little bit of both. Early on, I'll take a couple of sips where I don't slurp so much, just to kind of get the overall experience, and then I'll slurp a little bit afterwards. Not too much coffee on the spoon. And I'll probably have a couple of initial tastes of the coffee, just to kind of build up in my mouth. The nut coming straight the way through. Peanut and sesame. It's clearly obvious in this cup. And this time, a bit of a slurp. And the peanut, particularly at the back end, is definitely coming through in the cup. I want there to be acidity in the coffee, but this is what I describe as a mellow acidity. It's not too much, there's not a lot of acidity there. It's a pulp natural Brazil, which I wouldn't expect to have a huge amount of acidity. We've also got body. So this coffee creates kind of a light coating sensation in the mouth. Again, it's got that medium range body. The pulp natural processing means it's not going to have the same body perhaps that a natural processed coffee would have, but it's pleasing, it's easy, it's coating, and adds to the easy drinking nature that we know this coffee to be. Coffee should hang around after it's been tasted. It should linger. It shouldn't just disappear, but it should be a pleasing aftertaste. And it's one of the things I like most about a good coffee is that it's just there. You know, 20, 30 seconds after drinking it, it's still the sensation of that great quality coffee is still there to experience. And there's a lot of length on this coffee. And the nut definitely drifts into there, but also we get some chocolate tones. It's kind of a mid cocoa range, maybe 60% cocoa, that kind of, it's not a dark chocolate, it's not necessarily a milky chocolate. you'll start to appreciate sweetness even more, particularly as we tend towards kind of 40 degrees Celsius. And you can sense that from the moment I started drinking this coffee to now, the sweetness has been developing and building. In simple terms, the process of cupping coffee. Just touched upon it here today. And as I mentioned, our coffee membership scheme will give you a chance to taste these coffees at home and to experience coffee cupping in your own home environment. Now, I put all the details below that you'll need if you're interested. Unfortunately, we can only ship these coffees in the UK at the moment. So I apologise if you're watching this from other parts of the world. But if you have any thoughts, comments or questions, please feel free to get in touch. In the meantime, thanks for watching.